Deadlock might be one of the most complicated games Valve has ever made, and they teach you almost none of it. You finish the tutorial, load into your first real match, and from there, you're on your own. The game just expects you to figure it out. So you do, until eventually the basics start to click, like last hitting a trooper with a melee prevents your enemies from denying you, or getting shot from a zipline can stun you. But there are things that you're almost never going to stumble across on your own, such as discovering some items can cancel your heavy melee mid-swing, or that medic troopers don't just heal you but also every allied trooper around them too. And that's exactly what this video is. 8 secrets Deadlock doesn't teach you, the ones buried under the surface that nobody ever points you to. And trust me, even if you're Eternus, a lot of these are going to catch you off guard. These secrets won't be as simple as you can parry the Guardian, we're going much further than that here. So let's start with one you've probably felt but never actually put into words. The map isn't balanced, and I don't mean that as a complaint, I mean it literally. Deadlock's map has a favoured side, an unfavoured side, and which one you have to lane in can quietly shape your entire early game. Left lane is favoured, the middle is neutral, and right is unfavoured. Here's why. On the left lane, your tier 1 camp sits right on your side of the map, so you can clear it without having to overextend into the enemy side. Additionally, you have a one-way veil to clear the wave behind and escape from your enemies when low. But that's not all. When you peel back to shop, your Guardian is sitting right there covering you from most bullets, forcing enemies to dive you and take unnecessary damage from the Guardian. The air vent to mid is also on your side. Shove the wave in at 4 minutes 30 and go grab bridge buff. Air strafe once to the left when you need the secret shop, and once to the right for your double sinners. And when you're ziplining back to base when weak or rotating, you have far more building cover than the other side. Whereas when you're in the right lane, you have a tier 2 camp that spawns in the church at 5 minutes, no veil by your Guardian, almost no cover when ziplining back, and it can be miserable. The only real benefit is the secret shop being on your side, so here are some tips when laning on the right. Since the tier 1 camp spawns at 2 minutes, try shove the wave aggressively and contest them for the camp. Otherwise you're just allowing them to get a free lead, because boxes and your own camp in the church spawn in later at 3 and 5 minutes. And when you're low in health, play on top of the roof and secure your way from up there to preserve as much health as possible. Then when pushing, focus the Guardian more than killing the enemies since they have so much more survivability on that side of the map. Now it's important to completely understand what the medic trooper does, as this is very important during the laning phase. As most of you know, when killing the enemy medic trooper, it drops a healing pack. Walk within 18 meters and the pack will fly towards you, healing within a radius of 35 meters around you. This healing pack also splits heals amongst how many players are within those 35 meters of the player receiving the pack. For example, when a teammate is within 35 meters of you when collecting the pack, they will get an even share of the healing. So it might be obvious, but when your teammate is much lower than you, distance yourself and let them benefit from the entire heal alone. The heal is percentage based and will heal you more the lower health you get, but this leads right into a huge trap. Players will always leave the medic trooper last alive to maximize the health gained from each pack, even when shoving in the wave. And here's the problem, what players don't know is that the healing pack also heals all allied troopers over 8 seconds. Therefore, by prioritizing the medic trooper instead, the 8-second heal applies to allied troopers sooner, keeping your troopers alive for longer, helping you shove in the lane. So instead of greeding for heals every wave, when it's time to shove wave to contest the enemy camp or bridge buff, prioritize the medic trooper every time. Speaking of bridge buffs, they aren't worth the same all game. As most of you know, there are 4 possible buffs that can spawn on either side: the casting, gun, movement and survival buffs that require a heavy melee to secure and spawn every 5 minutes of the game. However, most players treat them with more importance earlier into the game, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's very common to see people contesting them during laning phase, but after 10 minutes have passed, their priority suddenly drops in almost every rank, when the buffs aren't fixed and the benefits scale with game time, getting stronger and stronger from the 5-minute mark all the way to 40. Take the gun buff for example, at 5 minutes it's giving you 12% fire rate and 35% ammo. By 40 minutes that exact same buff is handing you 35% fire rate and 70% ammo. That's over triple the fire rate and double the ammo. Another example is the movement buff, jumping from 40% zipline boost to 80% and survival starting at 200 bonus health reaching 700. So the secret isn't just to take the buffs, but continue to prioritize them, especially before a big objective or team fight when available. It's painful to see in most ranks the buffs just sitting there for minutes because they simply don't understand that it scales. And that's not all. Bridge buffs aren't the only thing in Deadlock to scale with time. We've also got boxes and golden statues. Those boxes you shoot and slide through every game don't provide a fixed amount of souls. Their value climbs the longer the game goes on for. At 10 minutes, a single box is worth around 40 souls. By 30, that same box is worth 80. It literally doubles. And the best place to cash in on that is the room above mid-boss that spawns 10 minutes into the game. This room has 18 boxes packed into one space, so clearing the entire room at 10 minutes nets you around 450 souls, taking into account the 60% chance of a box dropping a soul. And when you clear this room at 30 minutes, it's worth near 900, nearly 1,000 souls if not 1,000 with some luck, just for clearing out a room full of boxes. But it's not only about souls. 10 minutes in, 8 golden statues also spawn in that same room, each providing permanent buffs that also scale with time. The buffs from golden statues scale from level 1 to 3. They provide level 1 buffs when they spawn at 3 minutes, reach level 2 at 10 minutes, so that room above mid-boss guarantees them to provide level 2 buffs, and after 30 minutes reach level 3. Also, it's important to note that this isn't based on when the statues spawn in, but the game time itself. Let's say a golden statue spawns in at 3 minutes but never gets touched up until 15 minutes into the game. It still provides a level 2 buff. And when you receive golden statue buffs from sinner sacrifices, that's right, they scale the same. Now, the change each level provides aren't massive alone, but since they're permanent, the more you grab, the better you will scale throughout the game. When we take the ammo buff as an example, expect the buff to jump from a 3% permanent boost to 5% at level 2 and 7% at level 3. Or the permanent health bonus increasing from 15 to 20 and 30 at level 3. This next one is an absolute mind game, and once you know it, you'll start catching people with it constantly. The heavy melee cancel. Here's the thing, a heavy melee is loud. The second you start winding one up, the enemy sees particles, hears the sound, and knows exactly what's coming. It can't be cancelled once you start charging up, and any good player will respond with a parry, leaving you stunned for over 2.5 seconds. With good reactions, you can even squeeze in 2 full heavy melees into a parried player as long as you don't waste time at the start of the stun, providing a 4-second window to start swinging away relentlessly at an enemy. I don't know if this is intended, but there are 6 active items that allow you to cancel a heavy melee and stay fully actionable after, so you can immediately follow up. These items are Fleetfoot, Restorative Locket, Fury Trance, Colossus, Unstoppable, and Vampiric Burst. When you hit one of these actives mid-animation, the punch just vanishes, and you're able to start swinging at an enemy missing their biggest defensive tool. Now, if you're enjoying the level of quality going into these videos, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. These guides take a ton of time to make sure you get the information that actually wins games, and subscribing lets me know that you guys are enjoying this type of content. I also stream almost every day on Twitch, so come say hi, and I'm now offering Deadlock coaching. I've been coaching in Valorant for over 3 years, and I'm bringing that experience of teaching players over to Deadlock. I reached Eternus in less than 500 hours and mastered exactly how to teach and what it takes to climb in this game. If you're interested, join my Discord link down in the description and drop me a message. Moving on, everyone knows how to farm. You clear your waves, camps, boxes, sinners, and so on. But if this is all you're focusing on, you'll only ever be as far ahead as the enemy who's also farming. The players who pull away are cashing in on what most players focus on the side, kills. Here's what nobody tells you, a hero kill isn't a fixed reward, it scales massively. Early on, a kill is worth a few hundred souls, but by the late game, a single kill can be worth around 2,000. And it's even better if you pick the right target. Killing an enemy on a kill streak drops a bounty of bonus souls on top, and they're likely to be carrying lots of unsecured souls. Kill them and the streak bounty plus everything they were holding goes straight to you. But here's the real secret, and it's exactly why solo kills are huge. The more people involved in a kill, the fewer total souls the game pays out. When you land a solo kill, you secure 125% of the bounty, bring in a second player and it's still above full value. Split 2 ways, you each walk with more than half at 57% each. And when there are 5-man ganks, the game pays out barely half the bounty and then it's split 5 ways. Everyone is basically leaving with scraps. So think about it, a solo pick doesn't just get you ahead, it gets you ahead more efficiently than any other action in the game. That's how the best players snowball. They're not just out farming you, but they're catching someone alone and pocketing 2,000 souls nobody else has to share. And it's not just kills, walkers are a huge chunk of income too. Destroying one drops 4,000 souls for your whole team and 40% of that goes to whoever's nearby when it dies. So let's say you solo a walker, you pocket that entire nearby chunk yourself, roughly 2,000 souls in one go instead of splitting it with lots of teammates. Additionally, unlike almost everything else on the map, structure souls don't scale with time. A walker's worth the same at 35 minutes as it is at 12, so the moment it looks killable, prioritize the kill. That being said, continue to farm your waves, camps, and deny the enemies, but don't sleep on finding picks and taking down walkers alone when you can. Let's now take a look at comeback mechanics. As most of you know, the most obvious example of this is the urn. When your team is 10% behind in souls, 15% for the first urn, the pickup moves to your side and you gain resistances at the deposit location. However, what if I told you there was an entire catch-up system that's quietly working behind the scenes all game and most players have no idea it exists? After the laning phase, the 2 players with the lowest net worth on every team start passively earning bonus souls every second. The lowest net worth player gets an extra 2.5% of everything their team earns that second, the second lowest gets 1.5%. So if your team rakes in 200 souls a second, the poorest player just pockets an extra 5 for doing nothing. You don't have to be near it, you don't have to claim it, it just happens. The further behind your teammates fall, the more the game funnels back to you. It's there to silently pull you back to the rest of your team. Then there's the bonus for the entire team. When your team is behind on souls, you earn up to about 24% more from troopers, camps, sinner sacrifices, and objectives based on how far behind you are. But there are some things to keep in mind related to this. The first 3,000 souls off the gap don't count at all. The game treats a small deficit as a normal close game, so you won't see a single bonus soul until you're more than 3k down. From there, it ramps up the further you fall, and it tops out at a 20% net worth difference. So once your team is 20% behind, you're pulling in the full 24% on everything you farm and falling even further behind when push it any higher. And here's what that actually means: a single trooper wave is worth more to the losing team than the exact same wave is to the team winning. Farming while behind becomes mathematically more efficient than farming while ahead, so the smartest move isn't to force fight but to spread out and farm as much as you can. But the biggest one is kills. When you kill an enemy who's richer than your team's average net worth, you can earn up to 126.8% more souls, more than double the normal bounty regardless of which team is actually winning. And it gets worse for them. After 10 minutes, killing a player well above your team's average net worth extends their respawn timer anywhere from 6 seconds up to 22. So they're stuck on a grey screen longer while you take their resources. Now here's a late game snowball most players never even notice, and it's hiding in the shrines. The shrines are the last two structures guarding the enemy patron. You have to destroy both before the patron can even be touched, so many players write them off as nothing more than a final wall before winning the game. But destroying a shrine does something the game never teaches you: it permanently upgrades your troopers. The moment an enemy shrine goes down, your troopers in that lane transform into super troopers, and the mid lane gets them the instant either shrine falls. And it's not a small bump, they gain 60% more damage and 40% more health that lasts the entire rest of the match, meaning every wave from that point naturally starts to shove towards the enemy base. And here's the part that flips everyone's assumptions, especially coming from other games. You'd think a stronger trooper would hand the enemy more souls when they kill it, but that's not the case at all. Super troopers give 15% less bounty, so when the enemy's clearing out their base, they can't even farm the massive wave for a normal amount of souls. The waves become harder to kill and payout becomes less. And breaking the shrine itself isn't just a barrier for the patron, each one drops 2,000 souls when it dies. So you open up the base, pocket a ton of souls, and turn every future wave into a lane filled with super troopers, something straight from Clash of Clans. And that wraps it up. As always, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure to like and subscribe. As mentioned, I'm now coaching on Deadlock with over 3 years of experience teaching on Valorant. Make sure to join my Discord if interested. And I plan to go live almost every day on Twitch. Come say hi and let me know what you'd like to see next. Both links can be found in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.